What's up, people? Welcome to Drinking OJ and BC with plus FortyThor. You already know. Ironically, we haven't actually drank coffee or orange juice in our podcast, which I realized earlier today. So, as you can see, we have a special guest today, Brianna Nestling. How are you doing today, Bri?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Joseph.
Wait, hold on. Can anyone else hear that white noise?
No.
Is it just me? Okay. Okay. Bri, how are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good, thanks, man.
You're doing good, okay.
Had a long day, but I'm here with my two favourite boys, ready
Okay.
to talk Star Wars.
Exactly. She's brought it up. We are going to talk about Star Wars today, Ed.
Dun 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 dun
Star Wars today, Ed. Anything to add?
Other than Star Wars, well, my thing is that, listen, anybody who comes on the podcast, they need something extra. We have plus 40 Thor. We have Thor. Bree, have you brought something of a name?
Oh, God. You're putting me on the spot now. I'll tell you something that was funny that was said last night, though. You know, obviously, I got my bad knee.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, they were like, has anyone ever told you that you're the Breeze knees?
That is worse than anything Ed could come up with.
I was like, oh my God, no.
That is worse than anything Ed could come up with. We got the Breeze knees with us today. Special episode, you already know.
Otherwise known as BK? Otherwise known as BK?
And it is here in spirit.
What?
I'm saying otherwise known as BK.
BK.
Breezy.
All right, so we got BK on here with us today.
Yeah.
So Star Wars. My first thought here. What do you think is the best trilogy?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm starting off with the doozy.
Can we just clarify trilogies? Are you saying the first trilogy is the first one made, or the first one in?
Oh, okay. That does get confusing. All right. When we say first one is in first one in order, so the one that was made second. Second one is the first one made, but second in order. Third one is the most recent one.
Yeah. The originals, the prequel trilogy, and then the Disney trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
So what are we thinking?
It's hard because I like the first two trilogies. I really do. And it's not that I don't like the third one. I just think, obviously, like, times have changed since they filmed the original one. So, like, they're just so different.
Yeah.
I find this with films, like, it gets to a point where, like, they're running out of ideas. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that the last three were bad. Like, I really did enjoy the last three. I think I went and watched each of them 5 times. But, like, they just weren't the first 6. Do you know?
Yeah,
like,
fair enough.
Like, and obviously, like, graphics is, like, so much better. And, like, you know.
Yeah, it was a lot more, like, cinematic, you know.
Yeah. It was more done for the dramatic effect rather than, like, the quality of the film. Do you know what I mean? They were trying to please, like, today's market more than trying to please the kind of target audience that probably would have watched the first 6.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at it from my dad's perspective, I think I'm a massive Star Wars head because of my dad. And, like, it's not that my dad didn't like the last 3, but he was just like, it's just not the first 6.
Yeah, I get you.
I like the old like Carrie Fisher. I love Carrie Fisher.
So out of the first 2, which one is it? Yeah.
Really hard question. It's really hard because they've both got really good qualities. I think if I had to throw it out there, I think the first trilogy in order.
Yeah, I can get that.
Second made.
I can get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed?
Right, yeah.
Ed, opinions?
opinions. What one do I think is the best, or going by?
What one do you think is the best?
For me, the one that's the best for most people is definitely the original, because that's the one that got everybody on board. And
Okay.
from my age demographic, that's where they familiarize themselves. But yeah, I understand though that there's a lot of people who like the originals, but for me, it's the prequel trilogy. I remember going to see The Phantom Menace and falling in love with Star Wars. That was like, and to a lot of people, they're like, The Phantom Menace was awful and they don't like it because it's not quite the originals. And then they'd say the same about the newer films that Disney's made. But for me, the prequel trilogy, like from taking it from Anakin and going from where he was on Tatooine all the way through his journey in the Clone Wars, then the Clone Wars itself, the amount of content that produced, and then going on to Revenge of the Sith, where it capped off. The spoiler alert: Darth Vader ends up coming out of the table and becoming the second Sith Lord. But I think the prequel trilogy to me was the one that kind of stood head and shoulders above the others. But you couldn't have prequel without the OG, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to say the same. Like, I think I agree with you guys. Prequel trilogy is probably the best one for me because it's got that mix between cinematic and the essence of Star Wars, if you get what I mean. Plus, amazing actors. You got Liam Neeson in there. I love Liam Neeson. You've got Samuel L. Jackson. Just round of applause for Samuel L. Jackson, man.
That reminds me. I was going to say, remind me of that later. Say Samuel L. Jackson later, and I'll tell you something.
All right, so I'd definitely say the prequel one. And to be fair, when I first watched it, like when I first watched Star Wars, like years ago, I watched the prequel one first because I was thinking, okay, I'll watch them in order. This is episode 1, and it took me ages to realize when I got to episode 4, I'm like, why is this quality so much worse than the third one? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what happened? Well, now it took me a while to clock on, but I clocked on.
Have you guys have you seen the? I can't remember which one it's in. I think it might be Attack of the Clones, where because of like funding was so short, and like they didn't have the time to like refilm things. One of the clones is like running out and he hits his head on the door and like knocks himself out, but then just carries on acting. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I think it's one of the.
I will look out for that.
One of the stormtroopers is like running through. They're all running in the line, and one of them donks their head on the ceiling of the door, and then like, but they didn't have the time and the funding to refilm it, so it's just in the film.
That's hilarious. Okay.
I'm definitely
so many bloopers, to be fair.
Honestly, but I'm not surprised. It was definitely going to be expensive to make. Like, have you seen the props that they've been using? Like, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, honestly.
But... Okay, right. We've said about favorite trilogy. What about favorite movie? You had to pick one. Phantom Menace.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really like Return of the Jedi. I really like the ending.
Oh yeah, the Endor scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that is the one where like Obi-Wan Kenobi's like a ghost, isn't it? And they're like watching over. Yeah, no. And they're in like the woods bit. I like that planet. The set with the woods and like where
the Ewoks that totally weren't for making toys.
I'd have to say, I'd say Attack of the Clones, closely followed by The Phantom Menace.
I can get that.
Oh, I'm definitely a prequel guy, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So Ed,
they were made so long ago, but like the quality of the film is just unreal.
It is. I was surprised when I checked when it was made.
Like the first one was made in '77. Like, that's just crazy.
Nuts, isn't it?
It is, man.
Like, I can't even get over it.
Ed, this must make you feel so old right now.
How old were you when this one came out? Was you about 5?
I was like 7, I think. Like I remember vividly going to see it because my parents took me. Well, my mom took me, and I remember they were doing like this big demo, and I remember these two people. One was dressed up as Obi-Wan Kenobi. One was dressed up as Darth Maul, and that was basically my first like experience with cosplayers. You know, people who were actually doing the performance stuff and everything. They were doing it because it was the grand opening, and I didn't know what we were going to go see. I just remember the scene, and we all kind of know that scene where we've never seen a Jedi in his prime, we've never seen a Sith in their prime fight each other, and it's the Duel of the Fates scene,
Yeah.
and I just remember that so vividly, and how amazing it was. That was for me that was like I was just a kid, and that's like one of my earliest memories is seeing that scene. You know, I remember that so vividly.
Yeah. I was traumatized by Darth Maul's death. He was sliced in half. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, that was damn impressive. I must say it now.
What did you think of the Clone Wars series when he came back?
I was freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was still traumatized by the death, so when I saw him, I was like, whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Okay, let's go on.
Back as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about actors. Samuel L. Jackson, Ed.
Oh, right. So this is an edition of the podcast we'll call the Rumor Mill. So
Rumor Mill, okay.
Today's Rumor Mill, there's been a bit of leakage of information saying that Samuel L. Jackson might be playing the role of Mace Windu once again, as to say that Mace Windu might be making a comeback.
Whoa.
No, don't lie to me, Ed. Don't lie to me.
No. Listen. Like you can look it up. Like Rumor Mill, Mace Windu, Star Wars coming back.
Like in a solo film.
We don't know.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, do you think they're gonna make another trilogy?
No.
No, I don't know. I don't think they will.
I think if they're smart, they'd probably play it like a series. So like not like a trilogy, because I think the trilogy is kind of restricting them quite a bit. And we saw what happened with the newer ones, how there was people who absolutely loved The Force Awakens, then they absolutely hated The Last Jedi, and no one was pleased. Well, some people were pleased with Skywalker lineage coming to an end in the last film. But it looks like they're making some spin-off films. They're making a lot of shows like The Mandalorian.
That's not bad.
They're thinking about introducing new content around the Rebel fighters after Endor, and they've done that a little bit through Disney Plus. But yeah, they're trying to provide more, and they're trying not to go to the well, which is the Skywalker well, too much, especially because it's kind of ended. So it's just Rey who's assumed the mantle. But from what we know, Rey, or the actress that plays her, Daisy Ridley, I think she's got like either one more film in, or they're trying to get her to sign on for more films so that they can get her in a few appearances. They want to try and introduce new people into it. But from what it looks like, he could either be making a cameo appearance, or he could be making the final appearance as like the big bad. We don't know.
Ooh.
It doesn't look like it's like a duration. Like,
what year did Rogue One come out?
Ooh.
Is that 2018?
I think so, yeah.
Rogue One it wasn't bad. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Absolutely
I
loved
was
it.
completely lost. I was lost.
Were you?
Yeah. Because isn't that supposed to sit between, like, in chronological order? Isn't it supposed to sit between the third and the fourth one?
Yes.
It seemed a bit repetitive to me. In terms of storyline.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I almost forget about Rogue One, because like when I said, like, do you reckon they'll bring out another trilogy? It's like a commitment, isn't it? Because there's no way they couldn't just make one last Star Wars film. If they wanted to go for it, they're gonna have to make another trilogy. Like, it's a thing.
It would have to be a prequel or a continuation, like something like the Solo movie, where it's just on its own. Actually, me and Ed were talking about this before. Solo movie opinions, Brie.
Just related to Star Wars, or just in general?
Both.
See, in terms of Star Wars, I would quite like to know where Rey goes. Because, like, you know, obviously it's a big thing, and she's the Jedi, and you're like, whoa. But, like, that's it. You kind of, like, the rest of it is kind of left up to your imagination. And
Wait, it's in the Han Solo movie.
Yeah. Huh?
Wait, the Han Solo movie.
A Han Solo? What, is in the character?
No,
Yeah.
the movie.
Movie.
Is there a movie of just on Han Solo?
Bree, come on now. Come on now.
Solo, Lando Calrissian, and a few other characters. And I won't spoil the last bit, because the last bit pretty much it didn't really save the film, but it was probably the best part of the film for me, was those last, like, 3 minutes.
Oh, you mean the, like, major plot? I don't want to call it a twist, but, like, a plot enhancement, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What?
What's it called again?
Han Solo.
Yeah, Han Solo film or something like that. Oh, I'm telling you. I like it. Ed does not share my. Doesn't share my.
But then again, I like Rogue One. You don't like Rogue One.
No, I mean, I don't mind Rogue One.
Star Wars. Right, sorry. I know where I am now. I was thinking, what on earth are you going on about?
Wait, have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Opinions.
I liked it. I really did like it.
What did you make of the ending?
Loved it. I agree. I know what you're saying when you say it was like the last 3 minutes was like a good part. But I think I'm trying to think. Well, I think that was the one that I only watched once. When they all came out, like all the new ones, I watched them all a few times. Because it's like a tradition that I had to go with my mum, and then I had to also go and watch it with my dad. And then I think I went a couple of times with my friends, but I think my dad didn't want to go and watch it because he thought it'd ruin it, and I think my mum felt the same way. So I think watched it. But
no, I liked it. I like the angle they came at it from, because no Star Wars movies, no movies in that universe have ever come at it from the growth of focusing on the growth of like a singular character, and then bringing in that romantic aspect as well, and just journey of self-improvement kind of thing, but not as cheesy as it sounds.
I was wasting. You're talking about a smuggler here.
And the amount of plot twists, man. I liked it. The amount of deception. I liked it. Oh
yeah, when she came through and she ended up being a member of the Black Sun, I was like, what? And then it turns out that Maul was the leader. I was like, my jaw was on the floor. Like, because I was about to just tune out, because I was like, right, okay, this sucked. And then I was so glad I did it, because that last little bit saved it for me. Like,
I'm gonna say though, is it Woody Harrelson or something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Woody Harrelson.
No, wait, let me check. Wait, is he the guy in Han Solo? No, was he the guy who tried to double cross them?
I'm not sure, I can't remember that part.
Hold on, let me see the cast. Oh, Donald Glover is amazing. I love Donald. Yes, Woody Harrelson. I love him. He's a great actor. Wait, let me show you his picture. No, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Damn good actor.
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
To be fair, he was good in Han Solo. I'll give him
that. But thingy, another really good actor I like in Star Wars, John Boyega. Oh, I love that guy. I'm telling you, I love that guy. Like any movie he's in, I love it.
Have you heard the savagery he's been putting out recently about Disney?
Oh yeah, about the racism and stuff.
Yeah, and like
it's interesting.
Like, yikes! All right.
To be fair, I don't think he's working with Disney anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. To be fair, he's got his own projects on the go. What was it? He's now got an initiative where he tries to get people from Ghana, parts of Africa, and try and get them into projects that he's directing and he's producing. So talent that don't get a chance, he then is like, right, here you go. Here's a chance. Here's a platform. So really well done to him using his fame to try and elevate others. You know, he's a great
I
guy.
appreciate. I see what he's doing. Like I recognize it because he's had the classic actor struggle. Because I saw in this news story he only cleared all his acting lesson checks and all the debts after signing the first Star Wars contracts. For that debt and all the acting hoopla, but it's good. It's good. Did you see he bought his house, house for his parents, like 2 point something million? I'm like, okay, your man has money now.
Exactly.
What did you think about Pacific Rim?
Me?
Both of you, either of you.
Yeah, Ed, I'll let you go first. I've answered all the questions.
All right. The one he's in, I wasn't really impressed with. The original one was great though, with Charlie Hunnam. I was really surprised when they said he wasn't coming back. I was like, all right, okay, let's see how it is. But I'm not sure if it was like scheduling conflicts or whatever. But I think the problem with the second one was that it felt a bit hokey, like almost like it was a Saturday children's cartoon rather than what it was. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Well, and I understand people are into that, but the first one was like so raw and so intense, and at times you were like, "This is unbelievable." Like,
yeah, like edgy as steel.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
first one was the one with Idris Elba, right?
Yes.
Love Idris Elba.
But he's like your man. I feel like
exactly.
I'd love to be with you if you ever met him because I feel like you just like you'd be yourself. I think.
You don't know.
I reckon you'd start crying.
You did not know.
Start crying.
Oh my god. I would hug the man. I don't know if I'd ever stop you. Oh, I love his. Oh.
He'd be like, oh my god.
Oh, I still think he'd be a good Bond, but that's a talk for another day.
That's a talk for another day.
Han Solo's death. Thoughts?
Necessary.
Whoa.
Necessary.
Whoa.
I like what they did with it. I'll say that. It was. I like how they did it. I like how they progressed that relationship.
Mm-hmm. I cried. I cried every single time. I knew it was coming, and I kind of sit there in the cinema like, I know it's gonna happen. I know Harrison Ford's gonna die, and then I stood like, oh, why then? Why?
There was a part of you that hoped it wouldn't.
Yeah.
There was a part of you that was like, no.
They like pre-filmed the entire thing and just cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so what was it? It was it's when he said like the name Ben, and then you just knew in your heart this was it. Yeah. This is happening. You know.
I think it was still a bit of PTSD from when he got frozen.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like scooping up old feelings after when he got frozen. I was just like, why? Han Solo is such a good guy, and it's like this whole like bad things happen to good people. Like, why is it always Han Solo? Like,
I mean, he wasn't
killed by his own son. Like,
I mean, he wasn't that good of a guy if we think about it.
That was his charm, though. Is that it
was a charm.
He was the lovable rogue. He was he could get away with anything because you loved him. He was just so good at it, you know. And Harrison Ford, who played him, like iconic for that role.
He's
I will say though, I love what they did with the third trilogy in terms of the continuation. Like Thingy, Leia, Han Solo, they had a son. Luke started the whole Jedi Academy. I love how they did that. I'd have actually loved to see that. I would like to see that still, but I don't see much. I don't think they're gonna do it. But I wish the Jedi came back. Like that's one of my favorite parts about the prequel trilogy. The Jedi. I want to see more lightsaber battles, more Jedi Academy. Yeah. Oh, I love that, man.
That's what I was thinking was missing out of the last trilogy. Was just there just wasn't any lightsaber action.
Have you guys ever heard of Knights of the Old Republic?
No.
No, right. So there's a book series and a game series called the Knights of the Old Republic or Jedi Knights of the Fallen Republic. What this is like a RPG kind of game where you can go around creating this character, but then the plot kind of thickens as it goes around. So in one of them, your main character has just woken up from amnesia. There there's someone who's after him. We don't know who. We then find out it's this Dark Lord. His name's Malik. And then you go through this journey of trying to stop this guy from using this, world breaker weapon, which is basically like the Death Star in some circumstances. But you then find out as it transpires that there's this menacing overlord like around called Revan, and you're like, oh shit, who's this Revan guy? And Revan is the big bad. He's like the guy who's above Malik. And he brought so much death, so much destruction, but he used to be a Jedi, and he fell. And you then have Jedi around you that are helping you, trying to help you get to this Malik guy, defeat him, take over and whatnot. So there's these Sith, there's these Jedi, and they're going at it in a war. There's so many Sith before the Rule of Two, mind you, before the Rule of Two. And they're going at it, and it's this amazing visual effect that they come up with. But there's a swerve at the end of it where you find out after you woke up, you were summoned before you woke up. You then find out you're the big bad. You're Darth Revan. So what they're thinking about doing as one of the trilogies, or one of they're thinking about doing 5 films as well, is they want you to be Revan.
Ooh.
So if you go after this, go and look up Darth Revan and have a look at it, because that's what they're trying to get. I think it was Keanu Reeves that they had in mind.
Oh, I love Keanu Reeves.
Get Keanu Reeves to play him as the Jedi that then goes into the Mandalorian War, falls to the dark side in this war, becomes Darth Revan, goes into amnesia, wakes up, saves the world, blah, blah, blah.
That is a very interesting idea. I'd watch that.
I have a question. What were your thoughts and feelings on the age gap between Padme and Anakin?
Oh God.
Oh.
Like, is it? Because
you know what? It's one of those things that when I watched it as a kid, like you just didn't really think about it.
You didn't understand.
They do a good job at minimizing it, like without saying anything.
When I watched it as like a kid on like videotapes, and like it didn't even faze me.
Yeah.
And then like I watched the entire thing again around like February time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, he's like 5 years old and she must be in her teen years.
Well, yeah, she's the queen, isn't she? So it's like,
I was like, what the hell?
I know.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah. There's some grooming action going on there.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what you guys get up to on your planet, but that here is called illegal.
I mean, just imagine the train of thought of the story writers. Like, you've got a young boy progressing into manhood. We've got a teenager who's the queen of somewhere, like 10 years older. Yes, they are an item. Let's do it. You already know.
Cinematic gold, that.
What is it? It's like, oh, he'll grow. He'll grow.
He'll grow.
He'll get there.
How do you like them apples?
I bet he was loving it though. He'd be like that. Wait, so my mate's on task, so we'd hear about this.
Oh, I tell you, I really fancied the actor that played Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Really?
He was good looking. I'll give him that.
Good looking guy.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You know what I'm like? I'm a sucker for tall, dark, and handsome, man. Like.
What is it? I don't like sound. It's rough, coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
My God.
Let me ask you as this actually. The use of desolate deserts, planets, wastelands, is it overused in Star Wars?
No.
I'd say it is overused, but it's overused well.
Do you know why that is though?
Go on.
Because you have what's called the Outer Rim, which is
okay.
on Republic space. So a lot of these planets are desolate. They're uninhabitable.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when you think about it, a lot of them actually aren't inhabited on, or if they are, they're very minuscule.
Yeah, but this is why bounty hunters, rogues, and a few others are living in this region. One, because the Republic won't help them, so crime runs rampant. And two, it means that well, they can kind of make their own laws up. You know, they have this freedom, but it's also kind of tyrannical at the same time. Especially if you have someone like Jabba the Hutt who runs an entire planet, and the Republic just are like, oh yeah, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you find it ironic though how the Empire somehow managed to control this region without necessarily straining themselves, whereas the Republic didn't? That's one thing that I think always gets overlooked, is that the Empire had a system that branched across most of the known galaxy, whereas the Republic was kind of like, oh, we're too busy like with ourselves here in Coruscant. That can handle itself, you know.
I mean, don't get it twisted. The Empire knew how to handle their people. They kept the people in check.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a reason why they were successful. Just saying.
It's true. Well, almost successful.
Oh, I was waiting to say it. Yeah.
I mean, imagine what you could do with a Death Star, man. I would not wait in any lines. I'm telling you that now. I'm not paying for anything.
I mean, I tell you, I've been living in Sunderland for how long now? A couple months, and I can't find my way around still. Let alone putting me on the Death Star and being like, right, off you go. I'll be like, I have no idea. That place is huge.
You know that they'd have those lines in the ground, like at a hospital, where it's like blue for this department, red for this department, you know.
You best believe that I'd end up in the waste chute somewhere, being just like, exiled out into space. You'd be like looking out the window, like, "Where's Brie gone?" I'm like, "Guys," and just floated away.
But she's not the imposter.
She's not the imposter.
Oh, we should do an Among Us episode. Oh, ideas flowing. You already know.
Okay, who would you rather have as your sidekick? Okay, C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8.
R2.
Oh. Yeah, I'd have to go for R2. R2 is just that like unspoken.
I like R2 because he's like the old retro, but there's just something about BB-8 that I just find super cute. Like, did you ever watch the EDF Energy advert with the little like orange thing that was like it used to just bop around? That's what BB-8 reminds me of.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I like how he moves. I don't know why, but I just like watching him move, which is weird. But he's smooth, like literally smooth at moving.
Yeah.
But R2-D2 was the ultimate,
I feel like C-3PO would eventually get on my nerves.
Oh yeah,
definitely. C-3PO, I think, gets on everybody's nerves as it is.
Definitely. But it was a bit like touching when it was like taking one last look to my friends, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't mind me just throwing up in my mouth a little.
No, I was like, oh god, oh Jesus.
Okay, if you was any Star Wars character from any of the movies, who would you be?
Evan. Okay, movies. Darth Vader.
Whoa.
You really are a Slytherin, aren't you? You really are a Slytherin.
Man, I mean, if I could see Darth Vader without the limbs getting chopped off, that would be fucking cool. Sorry.
That's what.
Oh no, he didn't.
Like I said, it applies to anyone, not just you know.
If I had to choose.
Do you remember that scene in Rogue One?
Which one?
Right. So imagine this.
There were a number of scenes, man.
Right. So the plans are getting transported across this ship, right? They need to get out of that zone. And then suddenly the lights go black. Everybody's pointing their guns into the darkness. And then suddenly all you hear is just one sound. And it's just everybody is getting cut down. This man's a tank. He is lifting people up, and the orchestra is just belting out as these people are trying so hard to get these plans to the next door and the next door, and he is cutting his way through all of these rogue fighters, and I remember
sitting in the cinema at that point, and I was like, oh.
I know, exactly. I was just like this.
Whoa.
Oh man, and then he's just standing at the edge, he's just retracting his lightsaber, he just turns around and prepares his ship. It's just, to me, I'm like, yes.
No, the things I could do with the lightsaber, man, I'm telling you.
And
but now I'd go for
you'd always get your way, wouldn't you?
you already know.
I think my favorite character, and you're gonna look at me as if I'm stupid, and I'm kind of scared to say it.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I know. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew.
You
I just. I knew you
fucking
were gonna say that.
oh. I love Jar Jar Binks, man. I love him to bits.
He's pretty funny. He's stupid.
He's a top-tier character. Like,
I do not know how
he can jump. He can swim. Like, what can't he do?
I do not know how he rises up the ranks. Like, do you not know?
Make a good decision.
Like, isn't it just weird how he rises up the ranks so easily? Like, becomes a commander of the army in the first trilogy, because goes high into government.
Because he's easily manipulable. That's why Sidious wanted him in the position he was in. He's like, yeah, I'll have him there because I can manipulate him later. And that's what happened.
That is a good point. That's a good point.
No, sorry, go on.
No, you go.
No, because I'm going to change topic.
All right. Did you ever hear what happened to Jar Jar? What his ultimate fate was?
No.
No.
So after the scenes of Jar Jar, when he expelled emergency powers to Darth Sidious, who we thought was Palpatine, Chief Palpatine, this good guy who just wanted to rule the galaxy. After that happened, he lost favor, and he lost favor quite badly, especially after Padme passed away. So after it turned out to be the Empire, his people, both native and the non-native of the Naboo, they completely cast him out. So he ended up, we come across him at some point, and it's him actually performing on the streets, trying to actually get people to pay him so he can make ends meet. So he's now like a street performer. So this ends up being his ultimate fate. He is the clown. He is the fool. You know, this is, and to be fair, it's kind of it's kind of justice when you think about it, because he kind of just played into their hands, and he just said, yeah, I'll do this, no problem. You know,
should have stayed on the boo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Joseph, who would you be?
Oh, I would go for Mace Windu. He was underrated boss.
Is this just because he was played by Samuel Jackson, or
no, not even
just the character?
Just think about the think about the battle before he died. Like, he just I enjoyed that fight, man. I'm telling you.
He is the man who was made to kill Darth Sidious. He made Vapads that was originally Zhuyo, so he ended up creating a form almost no one else could master. And the idea with the form was to channel your own inner feelings towards the dark side against someone else. So the more powerful someone else was in the dark side, the more powerful his form was. So he was the ultimate guy to take on Darth Sidious. He was going to beat him until, Anakin came in and messed everything up. But that's a good one, though.
True.
Okay, what did you guys think of General Grievous?
Loved him. Legends version, not the canon one that Disney messed up.
He was one scary dude.
He was the robot, right?
Cyborg.
I do not know. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say I don't know how they gave a robot respiratory illness, but okay.
Actually, there's a story behind that.
Well, go on.
So while he was taking Palpatine away, he was about to get away, but Mace Windu, in a last bit of frustration, reached out with the Force and crushed his insides. So that gave him the cough.
See, that is why I like Mace Windu.
He literally made that face, and then it just went.
I remember playing Lego Star Wars, and I could never ever get past the mission where you had to beat General Grievous. Honestly, I used to go crazy. I'd scream. My mum would come running in my room. She's like, "What's happened? What's happened?" I'm like, "I can't kill him. He just keeps coming at us." It's just like, oh my god! Like I thought you were like falling over and hurting yourself, man. And I'm just like, no, I just cannot beat this dude.
Yeah. It's amazing how this game is meant to be for children, and then you can't beat them. You're like, there's no way a 7-year-old can beat this.
You know what? After. Oh yeah, go on, Bree.
You go.
Yeah, I was gonna say after you talked about Windy Red, I'm just thinking there should be a new challenge. Your force face, just like you know what I'm saying, like how you look when you're trying to do the force, like just like ultimate focus, just like this thing will move.
Concentration and constipation.
Exactly.
With a little
That
bit
is
of sexual orientation.
Like, don't tell me I'm the only one that sits there sometimes and I'm like, move. And you just stare at a cup and you're like, just, even if it just moves just
I
a
have
tiny
been
bit,
there.
just
I
sit there
have
like,
been
what? I'm a Jedi.
Not
And
gonna
who
lie.
had taken an object, any object, whether it's a phone or a what, and just went like that? Who hasn't done that?
Oh.
Oh well,
I used to
honestly.
love Lego Star Wars as a game though. I'd honestly play it for hours and hours on end. I remember there was like the free play mode where they just dropped you in like this massive map and it was like a village and you could just go around building yourself up a little village.
Yeah.
I used to go, I know it sounds sad, but I used to go in the park and play on the slide. Just like go down the slide, just walk around, climb back up, down the slide. Oh.
I mean, who needs a real slide?
Like horses and stuff. Well, they weren't horses, but they were like horses.
I mean, who needs a real slide when you have a virtual Lego one?
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. I rest my case.
The thing, okay, let me ask you guys this: do you think Star Wars sold out in the last trilogy?
Yes.
Really? I think they unintentionally did. I think they were trying to keep the whole Star Wars essence with a sprinkle of modern day cinema, but just lost it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing really. Like they had, to be fair to them, they had their own model that they thought was going to work. But I think they kind of had an oversight in that they didn't realize how many of the directors were going to have their own images. They kind of assumed that the production team would be able to handle it, the execs would be able to handle it, and then eventually it just completely turned inside out. They thought, yeah, this director will do fine with this film. These directors will do fine with this film, and we'll keep going. And after The Last Jedi messed up as much as it did, they suddenly realized, oh no. And they had to play damage control. And that's what the trilogy was. It was damage control. It went from, okay, good setup, a bit of nostalgia, but okay. Like you said, it was very much the spirit of Star Wars, but with modern interpretations and what Disney wanted in it. And then The Last Jedi just completely U-turned a lot of what was going on. And they didn't go with the image that was necessarily what a lot of fans wanted, but also another was how much was kept that was Star Wars. It felt like something completely different. And fair, people want different, but they don't want different at the expense of character. Like Luke Skywalker was not Luke Skywalker in there. Mark Hamill goes on record and says as much, as well as other actors. They were not happy with that film, you know. And then it went on to the third and final, which was meant to be the go home, you know, like this was meant to be it. And they were just ending up doing a lot of damage control from the previous film, you know. So there was no planned route as to where it was going to go. So they did sell out in a big way. If it was Lucasfilm, then they would have had like, okay, we're going to be here. We can go to there. Because you realize, okay, yeah, they'd have a map where it would go. That didn't happen.
I get you, bro. Well, it has been almost 50 minutes and we have managed to talk about Star Wars the whole time. As usual, I'm impressed with our nerd-like ability.
Easily done, man.
Easily done.
I don't feel like 15 minutes is long enough. Like,
and we haven't even gone into Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, or any of the extra stuff that happens. Rebels, we haven't done any of that. So
exactly, more episodes coming soon, baby.
About Chewbacca.
Ooh, that is true.
Yoda.
Oh,
what a guy!
What a way to describe Yoda. What a guy.
Guy. I feel like sometimes I need like a Yoda in my life to like give me guidance. you know what I mean? Like trying to make difficult decisions, and he's just like, breathe. Use the force.
Do or do not. There is no try.
That is an amazing Yoda. That is an amazing Yoda. I'll give it to you. Brie, yours was terrible. You need to work on that head. I'm gonna give you that.
I was just saying about his speeches. I wasn't trying to impersonate him.
Okay, Brie, okay. All right, guys. It has been Drinking OJ and BC with plus 40 Thor with a sprinkle of breezy knees. You already know.
Yeah,
So any last words, people?
I mean, I just want to apologize if you've never watched Star Wars and we've just ruined it for you. The spoilers.
Oh yeah,
really,
there was quite
if you've never watched Star Wars, I 100% say you've got to watch it. Like,
yeah,
time favorite film. I really don't think it could be beaten.
Yeah, very much.
You already know.
Filled with love, it's filled with comedy, it's filled with thrill. Like, you know, it's just a great concept.
Exactly.
Some people may die.
Some people may die.
Maybe they all die. Who knows? All right, people. We will see you in episode 4. Bye-bye.